Priorities and boundaries between working life and personal life. Today, there are many possibilities in life. There's a plethora of things to spend your time on, both in working life with new occupations and constant changes that enable new tasks, occupations, and fields, if one wishes to and has the energy to change their everyday life. Furthermore, there are many possibilities in our personal lives, in advertisements, marketing, and in social media. There is a constant display of what everyone else spends their time on. This poses a risk to individuals of feeling unsuccessful if they do not have as many activities and take part of this constantly increasing supply of possibilities. Therefore, most of us want to be able to do as much as possible. However, this is utopia and a facade that primarily puts stress on us to try and do as much as possible, especially in our personal life, but also to be successful at work, or at least feeling sufficiently successful compared to other people in our personal social life, but also compared to people we see in social media, on TV, in advertisements, and in other types of media. There's a limit of 24 hours to every day. In order to perform and not risking fatigue syndrome, it's necessary to prioritize between what we can do and what we want to do. In order not to lose yourself and not having time for what's really important to you and your social life, it's a good idea to write a list of what you'd like to spend your time on, both in working life and in personal life. What's the most important to you? Create routines and consider making a schedule. Plan your different activities and when you should do your prioritized activities. How much time do you spend on each activity? What is reasonable and realistic? What and who do you want to sacrifice in order to do all the things you want to? Because often the wish list is longer than the time we have, and also much longer than what's really important in life. If you would know that you have 5 years, 1 year, or a month left in life in order to reach your goals in working life and in your personal life, what would be on your bucket list? Make sure not to be fully booked. Remember how important it is to experience participation, social relationships, leisure, rest and recuperation. If you have a hard time to regularly do this, it may be a good idea to write it down in your schedule. Be strict before you have gotten used to your new routine, if you've had a hard time to do this before. Priorities will surely change depending on your life situation. Therefore, it's a good idea to reflect on one's priorities every once in a while. What aspects of working life do I have to, want to, can, and must spend time doing right now? What aspects of personal life do I have to, want to, can, and must spend time doing right now? Are these priorities the same as they were 5 years ago? And will these priorities be the same in 5 years' time? Working lives sometimes tend to take up a large part of our lives and our time, not least for people who are very ambitious and want to perform the best or find satisfaction in helping out. Therefore, we sometimes need to reflect on this and plan space for both our personal life and our working life. If you experience that work takes up too much of your thoughts and time, it's important to consider this and make sure that working life does not become too boundless and consumes the time for your personal life. Plan and spend your time between working life and personal life wisely. How many hours every day do you think about work? Do you have a clear and structured schedule for working hours and personal life and leisure time? Focus on one topic or task at a time and try to shut out everything else. Do you put your work phone and work mail away when the working hours of the day are over in order to focus on your personal life and leisure time? Do you put your personal phone and personal mail away during working hours in order to focus on your work? Make a clear and structured schedule for both your day at work and for your leisure time. When should you do what? Keep boundaries clear of when the workday is over and leisure time begins. For example, divide your workday in 4 shifts, 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. Focus on one task or topic during each shift and try to ignore other things that may occur. Between shifts, you should take a short break, as well as spending a few minutes to read your mail. Avoid doing this during work shifts since it disturbs your focus. The boundaries between working life and personal life. Discuss and come to an agreement with your manager on the boundaries of working life. Do you need to be on standby duty outside your ordinary working hours? Is it clear or unclear what applies? If you are expected to be available 24 hours a day, do you get the right compensation in time or salary? What consequences does constant work readiness risk to your personal life? What consequences does constant work readiness risk to your health? What effect can a continuous work readiness have for your work and your productivity in the long run? Is this really beneficial to your employer or yourself in the long run? In stressful situations that always occur at some point, both in working life and in our personal life, many of us have a tendency not to prioritize being social, leisure, exercise, rest, and recuperation. There is no energy to spend time in social situations and being pleasant. At the same time, it's necessary to experience social participation and to reflect and prioritize on what is important in life. Social relationships in personal life and time for rest, sleep, exercise and leisure is important to your health and your performance and energy during working hours. Additionally, it contributes to creativity at work. In theory, it's often easy to plan a balance between working life and personal life. However, it's much harder to stick to the plan when work tasks accumulate, we experience technical issues, or other unforeseen events occur. This poses a risk of work needing, and is allowed, to take more space in our lives in order to execute what's expected, or what we experience that others expect of us, both as a manager and as an employee. The role of being a manager risks taking more working hours than expected. Therefore, as a manager, it's important to consider, how do you experience your possibilities of keeping up with your personal social life in comparison to work? Have you, during different social ages, had needs of spending more time at work than expected based on your working hours, so that your personal life risks suffering? Or have you, during different social ages, had needs of spending more time at your personal life than expected based on your working hours, so that your working life risks suffering? How do you experience your possibilities of keeping a personal social life compared to work right now?